Okay, we're gonna do an oil change on this. What year's your bike?
2020.
This is a 2020 Harley Davidson Street Glide, so we're gonna forgive it for being a street glide. Oh, dang, my bad. All right, so we're gonna do an oil change on this 2020 Road Glide, because if it was a street glide, I don't usually allow those in my garage, but we're gonna take care of this Road Glide here and do an oil change. In this video, I'm going to show what it's like to do an oil change on a Harley Davidson Milwaukee 8 Road Glide. This is a 2020 bike. But before we get into the video, I do want to remind you that working on any machine, whether it be a car, a motorcycle, or anything else, can be dangerous. So you want to be extra careful that you don't hurt yourself or do any damage to your bike. Understand that I am not a Harley Davidson mechanic. I like to work on my bikes and my cars and everything else, and I just like to share the things that I've learned. And so if you get something out of this that helps encourage you to work on your own bike, then that's awesome. Go for it. But if you're not sure what you're doing, if you have any safety concerns, then get some professional help. And also be aware that anytime you lift a bike, a car, or anything else off the ground, there's a certain degree of, there's a hazard that goes with that. So just be careful if you choose to work on your own bike at your own risk. Now, the other thing I want to do is share with you is that if this video helps you, if this video encourages you, then like and subscribe and leave me some comments. I'm also going to include in the description section all of the tools that I use that are that you can get through Amazon through an affiliate link. And if you buy the tools through that affiliate link, then that helps to support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just that Real Riders Ride will get a small commission from the sale of any tools that you buy. If you decide to buy a J&S Jack, I don't get any commission on that, but call them and tell them that you saw it on Real Riders Ride. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so this is the oil funnel, I guess. Attachment for the J&S Jack, and I have to give this a thumbs up, an enthusiastic thumbs up. That did make the oil change a lot easier as opposed to having my bike on the ground and crawling around on the floor. It was much easier using this attachment. This is the supplies that we're going to use. We're putting a Harley Sin 3. We have 7 quarts. We have a new oil filter. We have our O-rings. I have a couple of funnels. Actually, we have 3 funnels, wrench, socket. We also are going to use a, I think it's a T25 Torx bit to remove the primary cover. You have 5 bolts here. I think these are T25s, so you're just going to remove those. And then underneath the bike, I'm going to look, and we have our drain plugs, which are here, here, oops, and here. So we have 3 drain plugs. This is for your primary. You have your engine, your transmission drain plugs there. So you're gonna pull these 3 out, let the oil drain. And then we'll also, oil filter is right, see if we get right there. Here's your oil filter. We'll take that out. So this will be a really easy job. Now, what's different about this oil change for me is that we're gonna be using my new J&S Jack, and we have this drain pan, or I guess that's what they call it, some kind of a funnel, which allows you to do the oil change on the jack. So we've got the jack lifted to its highest level that this jack will go. And I have my 2 safeties installed. So we've already started the bike to let the oil get warm. So we're gonna have to remove our engine and transmission dipstick. We just loosen them up and kind of let them sit in there. So that's the first thing that we're gonna do. And just let it hang inside. Okay, I'm gonna loosen up the transmission dipstick. And what that's going to do is allow the oil to flow smoothly.
It's just sitting now.
Yeah, just let it sit. Our 3 plugs. We have one here, and one here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is your primary, and then your engine and transmission are here. Okay, so and then we'll pull each plug off, replace the O-rings. You know, we're just gonna let the oil run out and we'll see how this goes. I hope that this doesn't make a mess, but we're gonna try out this J&S setup here. So let me show you this before I get started. So I don't know if this is the best drain pan to use for this because it kind of wobbles there. So we're gonna test this out. And here's the contraption from J&S. So we're gonna see how well this works. What I do like about it is I can do all 3 plugs from the same side of the bike now. So this should be pretty good. I don't think I did. So we've removed the first drain plug and we've got the oil pouring out now. And so far, did pretty good. It did have a little bit of spillage right there. So I guess positioning is everything with this. But so far it's working well. Okay. Pull it up. You want to try that one? I'm gonna hold it for you. Just kind of, yeah, keep it pushed in with your finger as you turn it. And just keep turning.
So just keep the nut pushed in.
Yeah, I'll keep that nut pushed in, and then there's only a quart of oil in there because I should try. Is that hot?
Yes, indeed. Woo.
Well, you want a glove?
Yeah, you got a glove.
Yeah.
That was hot.
So now we've removed the second drain plug, and that's out of the transmission. We're just letting it go ahead. And so far, our J&S oil director thing seems to be working pretty good. I think I like this. Now this is our last plug to remove here for the primary. So we'll go ahead and too hot.
It's hot.
Again, I like to keep it pushed up because once you get it fully loose.
Now it's done now. What's up? It's starting to get there now. But I got sensitive fingers.
Damn, did it again. Son of a
Right
bitch.
there.
What do we do with the plug?
It's sitting right there.
Or, oh, okay. All right, that's good. All right, well, that's the last one. We'll let that drain out. Is it spilling all down here?
It just, you got a few little
Couple
drips.
drops. Oh, probably for me, huh?
Yeah, it's not coming off from here though.
All 3 plugs removed, and the drain pan performed pretty well. I can say that location is important because I had a little bit of spillage on this side, maybe a little bit on the other side there. But all in all, I'm very happy with it. You do need a drain pan that's the appropriate size, and this one that I have is not perfect for this. So I got it turned a little caddy corner here so that the oil, all of the oil could drain. Also, the position of the jack is important. I probably had the jack a little bit too far forward this way. You need to have enough space to clear the primary plug, and we just barely made it, but we're spilling a little bit of oil on the jack. So that's a lesson learned for next time. We'll take care of that. Next thing we have to do is remove the primary cover. So we're going to grab a T25 bit, remove those 5, and then just remove the oil filter, and then we'll be able to start putting new oil back in. So we're going to remove the 5 T25 screw or bolts out of there. Get those out of the way. Now, important thing about an oil change is that the bike has to be upright, because if it's not upright, you won't be able to refill the primary because of the way the oil goes into the primary. So it's important to make sure that the bike is upright. Again, using the jack has proven to be a very nice surprise. It's very easy. And again, I have the safeties engaged here. So this is where all the weight of the bike is down. So it makes it a safer operation. But it's level up in the air, and you can easily reach all of the drain plugs on the same side of the bike. So it's pretty nice. All right, once you have the primary cover removed, you want to inspect your primary cover gasket, and that's the orange ring that you see around here. It does not need to be replaced with every oil change. You basically just want to inspect it and look for any tears or damage or wear or anything like that. And this gasket still looks good. Now, when you're buying your gaskets and your O-rings from Harley Davidson, just understand they come as a kit, but you don't have to get the O-rings as a kit. You can buy the O-rings individually, and you can also get them from Amazon. So I'm going to post a link in the description section for O-rings. All right, so we got our primary cover removed, and this is where we're going to put in new primary oil, but let's go ahead and drain the oil from, or remove the oil filter. Now, important lesson learned here is never lose your tools. If you lose your tools, you got to improvise, which is what this cup is for. There's supposed to be a tube that comes off the bottom of this funnel, which would allow the oil to go down into the pan. Unfortunately, I have no idea what I did with the tube, so we're having to make do with what I have. Just gonna put our oil filter wrench in. Make sure the filter is pushed back as far as it can go. All right, so now we're just gonna loosen the oil filter and hopefully not spilling too much oil. There it comes. So we have the oil draining. Unfortunately, I think we're going to spill oil here no matter what. It's going to be unavoidable. Yeah. All right, so all you're going to do now is take your new filter and put oil around the rim. Put it on there generously.
Generously?
Oh, yeah. Might be more generous.
Oh, okay. A little bit more?
Well, it can't hurt. Now now one thing that some people do when they change oil, they pour a little bit of oil in the filter before they start.
Yeah. Kind of keep it.
All right, so now we got the filter lube, and so we're just going to put it back in there, and you tighten it by hand. You never use a tool to turn it clockwise and
Paper towel because I'm slipping.
okay. Let's see what Yeah, finger tightening is good enough for the oil filter. You do not want to use a wrench, because if you do, you won't be able, you're going to catch hell trying to take it off. So just finger tightening, that's good enough. All right, so now we got the filter on. We have all the oil drained out. So now we're going to inspect our drain plugs, put on new O-rings, and reattach the O-rings, or reattach the drain plugs. Yeah, the next thing we're going to do is inspect our plugs. Now there's look for metal shavings on here. This one probably came off of the engine. There's a little bit on there, so we'll watch that for the next oil change. And this one probably came off the primary. In fact, I know it did. because the transmission one that's inside of our oil pan. So yeah, we need to keep an eye on that. You know, this is the first oil. Is this the first oil change on this bike?
First oil change.
So that's probably normal. All right, we got the O-rings cleaned up. I got everything off of our magnets, fresh O-rings, and now we're going to reinstall these two and refill the engine and transmission. And I got to dig the other plug out of my oil pan, or out of my oil drain pan. Now we're just going to reinstall the plug for the primary. Okay, now we're just going to reinstall drain plugs here. You reinstall your drain plugs and torque them to spec, and then you are ready for fresh oil. Okay, so the next thing that I want to show is in your owner's manual, your Harley owner's manual. This is one of the few basic maintenance things that they show you in the manual. So it gives you your fill quantity. So your initial oil fill is 4 quarts. So we're going to put 4 quarts of oil in, and then you just follow the steps here for verifying a proper oil level. Do an oil level cold check, start the engine, check for oil leaks, and then perform an oil level hot check. So we're going to put 4 quarts of oil in, start the bike, let it run, and then fill the oil appropriately according to the dipstick. Then you turn a couple of pages here, and then your transmission lubricants. So you're going to use 28 ounces of oil. So on a standard quart of the oil, there's 32 ounces in here. Okay, so you're just going to take it all the way down to 4. And then you'll have 28 ounces, and then you're done with the transmission fluid. And then you go another page, and then you have your primary. So you're going to put approximately 34 ounces of oil, which is basically a full quart plus, 2 more ounces. But again, follow the instructions that are listed in your owner's manual, and it tells you the proper fill level. So just make sure you get it to that level, and then you're all set. So we're going to go ahead and put in 4 quarts of oil into the engine. Okay, so we have just a small, skinnier funnel. Any funnel that you have that'll fit in there should work. So we're going to pour in 4 quarts of oil. Put in our second quart. So we're going to do this for all 4 quarts for the initial fill. Okay, so then now we got 4 quarts in the engine. Now we're going to put 1 quart in for the transmission, and it goes right into the transmission plug there. And we're putting Harley Sin 3, which you can use for all 3 holes. So we're going to go ahead and pour it down to, there's 32 ounces in the quart, so we're going to take this quart down to 4 ounces. Let's check and see where you are. So we are at 10, so we got to go all the way down to 4. A little bit more to go.
Down to 6, all the way to 8.
A little bit more. Almost there.
A tad bit, huh?
Yeah, almost there. Let's see. I think we're good. I mean, maybe it's
Just a smidgen.
Yeah. There you go. That should do it. Just reinstall the dipstick. This is a Harley part number. You can get this at any Harley dealer. It's basically a funnel for the primary. You don't have to use that. Any funnel will do as long as it'll fit. And so according to the owner's manual, we're going to put 34 ounces of oil. So we can pretty much pour this entire quart in there, and then we'll check the fill level. I did talk to my local Harley dealer and ask them, why is it that we can use the synthetic oil instead of gear oil? And he said it was because of the ability of the synthetic oil to not break down under excessive heat. So that's why it works. But it looks like we're full there. So when you look in the owner's manual, it talks about the oil level needs to go across the bottom of the plate, and that's exactly where it is. So I think we're good. Now the important thing about installing the primary is that you want to look in the owner's manual. It tells you how to do it. You want to install these screws in a star pattern. So you can just put the first one in there just to hold the primary in place, or primary cover in place, and kind of finger tighten all 5 of them. But when you tighten them up, you're going to go into star patterns here and here. That ensures that you get a nice firm and even connection, or even pressure on the primary gasket. Yeah. And also check your owner's manual for the correct torque setting for these screws, because you don't want to over tighten these. Over tightening these will cause some serious damage to your bike, because it's okay. An extra step that I take when I'm changing my oil is I like to clean everything up, so I spray a little Simple Green. Oh, sorry. A little Simple Green underneath. That'll get all the oil off and get everything nice and clean, looking good. The other reason I like to do this is if there is actually an oil leak at any time in the future, by keeping it clean, you'll actually be able to tell the difference. If your bike is nasty and dirty underneath, then you might not know that you have an oil leak. So I like to keep it clean. All right, to lower the bike, we're going to release the 2 safeties. Watch stuff. Okay, and now I'm just going to turn it slightly until the bike starts coming down, and just let it go. There you go. Just let it go. It'll come down nice and easy. Make sure we don't damage that pretty Mustang over there, because we ain't going to be friends no more if that heavy bike fall on my Mustang. Oh, no. Right, we're all set. All right, so next thing we're going to do is open the garage door back up. We're going to fire it up and let it run for a minute or 2. We'll check the oil, top the oil level off, and we should be good to go. And we'll also check it for oil leaks to make sure that everything is good and tight. All right, so we just finished doing an oil change with me and my main man Sweeper here. We got it done on this beautiful bike. We paid, not we, he paid, what was it, $130? $130 for a full synthetic oil and all 3 holes. Full synthetic oil changes, a lot of dealers goes for about, $350 to $450 depending on the dealer, and we did it for $138. So that's a good deal. So, you know, working on your own bike can be fun. It's easy, and I can tell you that you can do as good of a job as anybody else at the Harley dealer can. It's not that hard to do the oil change. But again, I highly recommend you take a look at your service manual, save your receipts, because you want to make sure that if Harley ever challenged you on any kind of warranty claim, that at least you can prove that you put Harley oil and a Harley oil filter on your bike. Prices aren't that much different. I know that some people like different oil brands for different reasons, but if your bike's under warranty, I would stick with all the Harley gear just to make sure that they don't give you a hard time. All right, that's all I got. I'm Q. I'm out. See you on the road.